Shalom. Welcome back. All right, we're in the Gospel according to the Hebrews still, going through and reading the Rock of a Sure Foundation. We're up to chapter 24. This is actually an important chapter. There's a lot of things that Yeshua here says here, that a lot of stuff that's been overlooked, and so let's pay attention as we go through this. Yeshua went out from the temple and was going on his way, and his disciples came to him to show him the buildings of the temple. But he answered them and said, "You see all these buildings? Most certainly I tell you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another which shall not be taken away. And this generation shall not pass until the destruction begins. For they shall come, and shall sit here, and shall besiege it, and shall slay your children here." Now wait a minute. If we go to Jerusalem today, there's stones sitting on top of one another. There's that little Wailing Wall that the Edomites like to make lewd gestures with their hips at and pray to their God. So was Jesus mistaken? Was there stones left on top of one another? No, that building, that mount, that Temple Mount, supposed Temple Mount that they're praying to, that's Fort Antonia. That's a Roman fortress. The actual Temple Mount was, I don't know, maybe a quarter of a mile or an eighth of a mile south of that location. Ernest L. Martin did some really good research on that and proved that Jesus was correct. Not one stone was left on top of another. The Romans tore the temple and the Temple Mount down to the dirt beneath it, looking for gold that had fallen down between the cracks of the rocks. And so they are praying to a Roman fortress there. And he sat on the Mount of Olives opposite the temple. Peter, John, and Andrew asked him privately, saying, "Tell us, when shall these things take place? What is the sign of your coming and of the end of the world?" Yeshua answered and said to them, "Be careful that no one leads you astray." I bolded this when I made this book because we tend to forget that. And when I say we, I'm speaking about the whole body of believers. We don't take too much care in making sure no one leads us astray, as evidenced by the fact that the apostate Paul is still in the Bible. Because let's look at some of the things that Yeshua is about to tell us. But the speech, you see how it's read all the way down the page? The very first thing that he says is, "Be careful that no one leads you astray." Okay, so let's see what's going to be going on here now. "For many will come in my name, saying, 'I'm the Messiah,' and will deceive and lead you astray." Now, it's interesting. He's saying to lead you astray. He's talking to Peter, John, and Andrew. They're going to lead you astray. People will say, "Well, it seems like the apostles accepted Paul, at least initially." Yeah, Jesus told them he's going to lead you astray. They figured it out. It didn't take them very long to figure it out. But the Paulinists like to point at the early stages of Paul's interaction with the apostles and say, "Oh, see here, they accepted him." Yeah, that was at the beginning, man. They gave him a chance. But after that incident in 2 Galatians where he got up in Peter's face, that's when he was totally exposed. Everybody knew what he was. "You will hear of wars and rumors of wars. Beware lest you become foolish and troubled, because all of this shall occur, but the end will not be yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be pestilence, famine, earthquakes in various places. But all of these things are the beginning of travail. Then they will deliver you over to tribulation and kill you. You will be hated by all the Gentiles because of my name." Man, that's true today. Really, like, you start talking to Christians, they don't like the apostles. Peter, James, John, they don't like those guys. They just like Paul. "Then many shall be perturbed, and will deal treacherously with one another, and will be enraged among themselves. False prophets will arise, and will lead many astray. false prophets will arise and lead many astray. Now, if false prophets were not going to come, do you think Jesus would have warned us about them? Because there seems to be this belief that, there's no false prophets. There's no false, apostles. Yeshua wouldn't have wasted the time warning us about them if they weren't going to come. False prophets will arise and lead many astray. When wickedness is multiplied, the love of many will grow cold or grow faint. But he who stands firm to the end will be saved. And this gospel will be preached in the whole world for a testimony to all the Gentiles concerning me, and then the end will come. This is the Antichrist. So what is being said here? This gospel is the gospel from the false prophet that's going to be preached in the whole world for a testimony to all the Gentiles concerning him. This is the Antichrist. So it's the Antichrist gospel that's being preached. That came from the false prophets. That's why I say that Paul's the Antichrist. I think there were many Antichrists, but Paul's certainly one of them. John told us, how do you recognize the Antichrist? Well, he's the one that denies that Yeshua came in the flesh. And Paul multiple times says that that Jesus came in the appearance of flesh. Paul, it's pretty easy to see who the Antichrist was. Like, there's just way too many clues, and the clues all point to one person. When therefore you see the abomination of desolation, which is spoken of through Daniel the prophet, standing in the holy place, let the reader understand, then those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let him who is on the housetop not go down to take out the things that are in his house. Let him who's in the field not return back to get his clothes. But woe to those who are about to bear child and to nursing mothers in those days. My dog's playing with the squeaker. Pray to God that your flight will not be in the winter, nor on a Sabbath, for there will be a great suffering such as not been from the beginning of the world till now, nor ever shall be after it. Unless those days had been shortened, no flesh would have been saved, but for the chosen's sake, those days will be shortened. The abomination of desolation, standing in the holy place, that's when the Romans got into the temple. They overtook the temple and went in and were making sacrifices in the temple and sacrificing to their standards. So that's what that abomination of desolation is. If any man tells you, behold, here's the Messiah, or there, don't believe it. If any man tells you, behold, here's the Messiah, if they say, look, here's the Messiah, or there, don't believe it. Don't believe it. For false messiahs and false prophets will arise, and they will show great signs and wonders, so that, if it can be, they will come to lead astray even the chosen. There's a certain guy named Apollos who likes to brag about the signs and wonders that he did in front of his congregations. And he says this was the mark of a true apostle. I could do these signs and wonders. It's exactly the opposite of what Yeshua said. He said, don't believe the signs and wonders. Don't believe it. When someone says they saw the Messiah, don't believe it. Paul says that he saw the Messiah in the wilderness. Do not believe it. Therefore, if they tell you, behold, he's in the wilderness on the way to Damascus, don't go out. Or, behold, he's in the inner rooms, like Paul, and he had his story about seeing a vision of Yeshua in the inner room of the temple. Behold, he's in the inner rooms, don't believe it. Pay attention, I've foretold it to you. Don't believe the guy that shows up saying he saw Yeshua in the wilderness and in the inner room. He couldn't be more clear, And people will say that, oh, well, if you reject Paul, you're going against Jesus. He appeared to him in the wilderness. He made him an apostle. Why would Jesus tell you not to believe this guy if then he was going to turn around and judge you for not believing him? I think the more likely scenario is you should have listened to the Messiah and heeded his warning, and you didn't. It's never too late to repent. As long as you're still taking breaths, repent. Clear the Pauline theology out of your brain and follow the Messiah. And Yeshua said to his disciples, "For as the lightning flashes from the east and seen even to the west, so will the coming of the Son of Man be. For wherever the body is, that is where the vultures will be gathered together." Wherever the body is, what is the body? The body is the body of believers. Who are the vultures? The vultures are these false apostles and false messiahs. They're gathering around the body to strip it bare. So when Yeshua comes back, as lightning flashes from the east and seen to the west, everybody's going to see him. So whoever says that they see him, before you see him coming in the clouds, that person's lying to you. That's the person you don't believe. That was Paul. Paul claimed to see Yeshua in the wilderness. That was before Yeshua was seen coming in the clouds. At that time, after the suffering of those days, the sun will be darkened, the moon will not give its light, the stars will fall from the sky, and the host of heavens will be shaken. Sounds a lot like the book of Revelation, doesn't it? And then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky. What is the sign of the Son of Man? The sign of the Son of Man was in the sky, but prior to his birth. Do you guys remember what was in the sky? A star? You know, every time that Star of Bethlehem is shown in like Christian art, what does it look like? It kind of looks like shaped like a cross. You know, it's got kind of looks like a star that's shaped like a cross. And if you saw a star that's shaped like a cross, you might think it kind of looks like a sword, because the sword and a cross have roughly the same shape. Josephus tells us that before Jerusalem was destroyed in 70 AD, that there was a star that hung above Jerusalem that looked like a sword. So whether it's supposed to be a cross or whether it's supposed to be a sword, I mean, Yeshua did say that he came to bring a sword, so maybe the star was supposed to look like a sword. We would probably see it as a cross because of Christian iconography. But whatever it was, that sign of the Son of Man was hanging over Jerusalem in 70 AD. And there were multiple reports of the soldiers who were fighting the war, who were laying siege to Jerusalem. They looked up in the sky and they saw armies up in the sky waging war above them. That was Yeshua and the host of heaven coming to wage war against the forces of Satan. Tacitus records that in the Annals of Rome, and Josephus records it in his War of the Jews. It's two different witnesses. Thousands of soldiers saw it. Christians don't know about it because they don't read. they don't read the Bible, much less Josephus. But yeah, the sign of the Son of Man was there. The armies waging war in heaven was there. Yeshua, he came back. He did exactly what he said. He came back and he used the Romans to destroy Jerusalem, just like he said he was going to in all these parables. Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky. Then all the families of the land will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with many warriors and with power and great glory. That's what I just described. That's exactly what happened in 70 AD. He will send out his angels with a great sound of a shofar, and they will gather together his chosen ones from the four winds and from one end of the sky to the other. Now from the fig tree learn this parable. When you see its branches and leaves are sprouting, you know that the ripe fruit is near. So likewise, when you see all these things, know that he is near, even at the gates. Most certainly I tell you, this generation of mankind will not pass away until these things be. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will no wise pass away. This generation did not pass away. This is 40 years later whenever that happened, whenever all of this came true. Everything from the war in heaven to the false apostle showing up, all of that occurred within 40 years. Now beware in yourselves lest your hearts become loaded down with the eating of flesh, and with the intoxication of wine, and with the anxiety of the world, and that day will come on you suddenly. This is actually incorporated in from the Gospel of Luke. The oldest copy of the Gospel of Luke we have is a Syriac version that we have. And this passage here about eating flesh and intoxication of wine, this is from that copy of the Gospel of Luke. For as the snare will come upon all those who dwell on the surface of the earth. Therefore be watchful at all times, and be seeking that you may be worthy to escape all these things that are about to be, and that you may stand before the Son of Man. Every day Yeshua was teaching in the temple, and every night he would go out and spend the night in the mountain that is called Olivet. And all the people were going early unto him at the temple, that they might hear him. And there was a certain woman who was taken in many sins, against whom all bore witness that she was deserving of death. And the sages and the Pharisees brought her to Yeshua to see what he would command, in order that they might malign him. And Yeshua answered and said, Come you who are without sin, cast stones, and stone her to death. But he himself, having bowed his head, was writing with his finger in the earth, in order to expose their wickedness. And behold, they began seeing their various sins appear before them on the stones themselves. And filled with shame they departed, and no one remained, but only the woman. And Yeshua said to her, Go in peace, and present the offering for sins, as it is written in their law. And again Yeshua said to his disciples, As the days of Noah were, so will the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in those days, which was before the flood, they were eating and drinking, being fruitful and multiplying, until the day that Noah entered into the ark. And they didn't know that the end was near until the flood came and took them all away. So will the coming of the Son of Man be. Then 2 men shall be in the field, the one righteous and the other evil. The one is taken and the other is left. 2 shall be in one bed, one shall be taken and one left. 2 women will be grinding at the mill, one shall be taken and one left. This is because the angels at the end of the world will remove the stumbling blocks from the world and separate the good from the evil. So in other words, you don't want to be the one taken. The one taken is the one you don't want to be. Then Yeshua said to his disciples, Be therefore alert, for you don't know at what hour your master will come. But this you know, that if the master of the house had known in what watch of the night the thief was coming, he would have been alert, and would not have allowed his house to be broken into. Therefore also be ready, because you don't know at what hour the Son of Man is going to come. What do you think of the faithful and wise servant, whom his master has set over the children, to give them their bread in its proper time? Blessed is that servant, whom his master finds doing so when he comes. But certainly I tell you that he will place him over all his substance. But if that servant should be evil, and should say wickedly in his heart, My master is delaying his coming, and begins to beat the servants who are with him, and eat and drink with the gluttons, the master of that servant shall come in a day when he doesn't expect it, and a time which he doesn't know, and will cut him in pieces, and appoint his portion with the hypocrites. This is where weeping and grinding of teeth will be. So, this parable, remember Adam back in the garden when he was given dominion over the animals? And, the animals themselves were Yahweh's creation. They're his servants just like we are. You might want to reread this little parable here and think of these servants, the ones that he set over. Here it says children. You might want to consider, what if that's What if that's the animals? Just something to consider. And Yeshua said to his disciples, "Then the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet a bridegroom and a bride. 5 of them were lazy and foolish, and 5 were alert and wise. The 5 who were foolish, when they took their lamps, took no oil with them, but the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. Now while the bridegroom was delayed, they all lingered and slept. But at midnight there was a cry, 'Behold, the bridegroom is coming. Come out now to meet him.' Then all those virgins arose and made ready their lamps. The foolish said to the wise, 'Give us some of your oil, for our lamps have gone out.' But the wise answered, saying, 'We cannot give you, because there won't be enough for us and you. But you go rather to those who sell and buy for yourselves.' While they went out to buy, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went in with him at the wedding feast, and the door was shut. Afterwards the other virgins also came, saying, 'Master, Master, open to us.' But he answered, 'Most certainly I tell you, I don't know you. Watch therefore and be alert, for you don't know the day or the hour in which the bridegroom will come.'" So what is the oil? What is this oil? I'll tell you what I think it is. Yeshua says that he's going to have those that call him Lord, Lord, but don't do what he says. And he says, I'm going to say, depart from me, you workers of iniquity. I never knew you." It's the same answer he gives here. I don't know you. So what is the oil? Well, I think the oil is your good works. It's your obedience. No one wants to be obedient to Yeshua. They just want to take the easy so-called gospel of just believing some biographical data about Yeshua and thinking they're going to be saved for that. But Yeshua tells you continually that you will be saved on account of your works, not believing biographical data like he was crucified, died, and was resurrected. That's not going to get you anywhere. The demons know that he was crucified, died, and resurrected. You think they're going to be saved? Then Yeshua told his disciples another example. "The kingdom of heaven is like a man going on a far journey abroad to another country. He called his own servants and entrusted his money to them. To one he gave 5 gold coins, to another 2 gold coins, to one he gave 5 gold coins, to another 2 gold coins, to another one, to each according to his own ability, what was suitable for him." Yeah, I think that's a typo. Then he went on his journey. Immediately he who accepted the 5 gold coins went and traded with them and acquired another 5 coins. He who accepted the 2 went at once and squandered the substance with harlots and flute women. Okay, I see. So to another he gave 1. Maybe I'm going to change that and clarify it better. But he who received the 1 coin went away and dug in the earth and hid his master's money. Now after a long time the master of those servants came and settled accounts with them. He who accepted the 5 gold coins came near, saying, "Master, you delivered me 5 gold coins. Behold, here are 10, including another 5 which I have gained for you." His master said to him, "Well done. Truly you are a good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. I will set you over many things. Enter into the joy of your master." He who had accepted the 2 coins came and said, "Master, you delivered to me 2 coins. Behold, I have squandered the coins on riotous living." His master said, "Aha, you have been a sinful and degenerate servant." He also who had accepted the 1 coin came near and said, "Master, I knew that you are a firm and hard man, reaping where you didn't sow and gathering where you didn't scatter. I was afraid and went away and hid your gold coin in the earth. Here, have what is yours." But his master answered him, "You wicked and slothful servant, you knew that I reap where I didn't sow, and gather where I didn't scatter. You ought therefore to have deposited my money with the bankers, and at my coming should have received back my own with profit. Take away therefore the gold coin from him, and give it to him who has the 10 coins. For to everyone who has more, more will be given, and he will have abundance. But from him who doesn't have, even that which he has will be taken away. But as for that contemptible servant who squandered my money, cast him into prison, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." Again Yeshua said to his disciples, "But when the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then he will sit on his glorious throne. Before him all the nations will be gathered, and he will separate between them one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on his left hand. Then he shall tell those on his right hand, 'Come, blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the creation of the world until now. For I was hungry, and you gave me food to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a wayfarer, and you took me in. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me.' Then the just one shall answer him, saying, 'Our master, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you as a wayfarer and take you in, or naked and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and come to you?' The king will answer them, 'Most certainly I tell you, every time you did it for one of the needy of these which are my brothers, it is as if you had done it for me.' Then he will also," that almost sounds like works to me. He didn't praise him for believing biographical data about him. "Then he will say to those on the left hand, 'Depart from me, you cursed, and go into the eternal fire, the place where it was prepared for Satan and his angels. For I was hungry, and you didn't give me food to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me no drink. I was a wayfarer, and you didn't take me in. Naked, and you didn't clothe me. Sick and in prison, and you didn't visit me.' Then they will also answer, saying, 'Our master, when did we see you hungry, or thirsty, or a wayfarer, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and didn't serve you?' Then he will answer them, saying, 'Most certainly I tell you, because you didn't do it to one of the needy of these which are my brothers, you didn't do it unto me.' These will go away into eternal punishment, but the just ones into eternal life." All right, that's another 2 chapters. We'll pick it up in chapter 26 next time.